Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 618. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today we're going to be doing a rebroadcast of one of our most downloaded and impactful episodes from August of 2025, titled Black Culture is Big Business for Everybody But Us. Now, let's get ready for today's show content. Today's show topic is titled Black Culture is Big Business for Everybody But Us. Black culture is big business for everybody but us. Let's be honest, guys. Black culture drives the world. Fashion, music, media, lifestyle, wherever you want to take it. And the problem is everybody else is profiting from it but us. So on today's show, we're going to be talking a little bit about how Black culture has become a global currency, why ownership is important, not influence, the $1 trillion power of consumer spending that we have, and also, most importantly, what are some of the solutions? But before we get to today's show content, let me just share a few things with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resource links, such as the link that you heard at the beginning of the show for besmartbyblack.com. This is a free weekly newsletter that brings together Black consumers with Black brands and Black product owners. Exactly what we're going to be talking about on today's episode. Everybody else is benefiting from our culture but us. So make sure you go to besmartbyblack.com. Sign up. It is free. The newsletter is free. You have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain when you get exposure to new brands, special promotions and drops, and access to unique Black-owned products. So it's really a no-brainer. But let's get ready for today's show content. Black culture is big business for everybody but us. So Black culture basically is the world's currency, from the way we walk, talk, dress, dance, create. Our influences drive industries worth billions of dollars. Yet while the luxury brands and corporations are cashing in on our creativity, most times, unfortunately, we're left with little more than the recognition and not the revenue. And many times we won't even get the recognition if they can erase that. So this is something that's super serious. I said a couple months ago, guys, every episode that I do, I wanted to be super impactful to move you from point A to point B as an entrepreneur. Today's episode is a little bit different because they're not really any actionable steps, but it's a mindset shift that I'm hoping that I can impart to the BEB family. So today I'm going to talk about briefly how Black culture has become a global currency, why ownership, not influence, is the real wealth gap, the $1 trillion power of consumer spending, and also, most importantly, what are some of the solutions? So let's start off with Black culture equals global currency. Black culture equals global currency. From the music and fashion to slang, style, whatever it is, Black culture sets the trends worldwide, not just in the United States, North America, worldwide. Companies and influencers profit massively from what originates in our communities. For example, hip hop, right? So hip hop started back in the 70s. and it was co-opted. And unfortunately, when hip hop came out, so I was there when hip hop came out. Everything was about, it was light, it was positive, it was talking about unity, and then it changed. It got co-opted by corporate America. You hear Dame Dash talk about this all the time, culture vultures. And it's true. So now you can't find a decent rap song or lyrics without somebody being misogynistic, talking about pimps and hoes, killing people, making money, all of that type of stuff that the record industry allows for black people to say on record. But if you say anything about any other ethnicity, even close to that, you're going to get shut down. But they'll let you do it. So they've co-opted it, and they've turned something that was positive into a negative influence. And I'm not going to get into this conversation, but I will say this. If there is no balance in the pop culture or media or music specifically, we're going to have a problem. Especially nowadays, if you have parents that are letting the TV and the telephone raise their kids. There's no balance in the house. So you see all this drill rap in Chicago. You see all of this stuff that's glamorized, like, I'm gonna kill you. They don't never talk about killing anybody else. It's not good, obviously, to kill anybody. But only people they talking about killing is us, because they know they can get away with that. They never talk about, oh, I'm gonna kill this ethnicity. I'm gonna kill this ethnicity. I'm gonna kill the police, whatever. Because they know they get a pass, because that's how the whole playing field is set up. So in terms of co-opting black culture, they've co-opted the music, and they're using the music to program some of these influential youth to act a way that obviously isn't good for themselves or the community or anybody else in general. So black culture is global currency. So now let's talk about fashion, right? Timberlands, right? All of a sudden, some rappers and stuff started wearing Timbs back in the day. And now, that's a staple in households, in black households, right? Cristal used to be the staple when you out drinking. Puffy and them was, oh, let me get that Cristal. All of that stuff. Gucci. I've seen people spend money, family members, that can't pay their electric bill, but they're going to go and buy some pair of Gucci shoes. Simple Simon stuff, just dumb stuff. People with real wealth don't have to do that. Out here, I'm looking on Instagram, you got these fools cooning and buffooning over here, walking around with $200,000 in a Gucci bag. Gucci bag probably costs $10,000, $12,000. Just, it's ridiculous. So black culture equals global currency. So we have to understand what we create and not let that get co-opted. So these are some of the things that we got to think about, guys. Let's talk about the wealth gap in ownership. So despite, fueling the demand, black people often don't own the platforms, the brands, or distribution channels that all of these products and everything comes from. So the lack of ownership, guys, translates into lost wealth and missed opportunities for community reinvestment. So let's look at who's on social media the most, right? And it's actually, consumer studies have shown that black folk in the United States are on social media more than other people. Do we own any of the platforms? I think Isaac Hayes' son has a platform. I can't remember the name offhand, but if you do know it, please comment, put it in the comment section. Do we own any of those platforms? No. They talk about black Twitter. That ain't real. You don't own that. So all of the platforms, the manufacturing and distribution, right? We're super consumers, and that's where the problem comes in at. All we want to do is consume, and we have a surface level thinking. Not everybody, but there are a lot of us out there that have a surface level of thought, meaning we don't go deeper than this. But you have to start recognizing and understanding where the wealth and how the wealth is bought. You got people spending their last dime on Balenciaga, Gucci, Fendi, Louis, whatever it is, because the mindset is that that's been created. If I have this, that means I'm worth something. So there's a wealth gap, once again, not just necessarily in ownership, not just in influence, but in ownership. That's why ownership is important. We have a lot of great black designers out here, be it from watch companies, clothing, handbags, or whatever. And we need to really start digging in and supporting and making those the fashion statements. So how about we get everybody else of every other ethnicity buying our black produced products and brands? How about that for a change? You probably never thought about that because you're already so used to buying everybody else's stuff, the Gucci's, the Louis, the Fendi's, all of that stuff. You so used to that, you haven't even considered flipping the script. So could you imagine all the millions upon millions of dollars that we spend on Timberlands, red bottoms, Gucci purses, or whatever it is, if we were able to direct those same resources to black-owned businesses? And not just for us to make them hot, because anything that we do, when we shape the culture, people are going to follow. So how about we make them follow some black brands, some black-owned products, okay? Instead of always putting something in somebody else's pocket. The American dream was built off of our back, figuratively and literally. People are coming over here right now and they're eating off of our backs. And you over here doing nothing but helping them. And I don't want to get too deep into that. But so that's the wealth gap in ownership. And that's the biggest thing in terms of the wealth gap in dollars. If you have ownership, the wealth gap in dollars is going to change. It's going to shrink if we start working and thinking collectively. And that's number 3, the power of collective consumer spending. Black consumers in 2025 are estimated to drive $1.98 trillion in spending, and that's just in the United States. $1.98 trillion, almost $2 trillion. The problem is, you gotta how do you redirect even a fraction of that spending? So a study was done that showed only 2% of every dollar that an African American or black person owns in the United States actually is directed in the black community. Now, the dollar only circulates in the black community for 6 hours. And I've used this example before, but this is something that you're not even cognizant of this because you're so used to doing things the way that you're doing. So just imagine your direct deposit gets in your account Thursday night for Friday. So you got net of $1,000 just to make it simple. So you wake up that morning, Friday night, just got paid, whatever. You said, okay, I'm going to go fill my tank up with gas. You go drive to a gas station, put $60 in the tank. While you're at the gas station, you figure you'll grab some coffee and something else to eat. That's another $15. Okay, you done spent $75 already before you even get to work. So now you get to work and a bunch of you people and co-workers say, you know what, let's go out and get some lunch. You spend another, just say $25 at lunch. You're at $100 right now. Then, since it's Friday after work, you know what, let's go out and get some drinks, have some dinner, blah, blah, blah. So now you spend another $150. So you spent $250 before you even got home that night. That's 25% of your take-home pay. And I guarantee you, none of that went to a black-owned business. I guarantee you that gas station that you went to fill up, you bought your coffee, the lunch place that you went to, and the dinner place where you had drinks and dinner. That's $250 gone before you even got home, which was 25% of your take-home pay, and you haven't even thought about spending it with a black-owned business. And the problem is you have to make a conscious effort to do so. And that's where one of the biggest issues come when we talk about collective spending, consumer spending. Do you understand what would happen if we increase that 2% of every dollar up to 20% of every dollar? Do you understand how that will affect the black product brands, the black entrepreneurs, the black community? It takes money to make money, right? And I have this quote that I created, said, there's no revolution without economics. Everything starts with economics. You can do a lot, volunteering and stuff without economics. But if you need to move the needle, you need economics. So back in the civil rights era, black churches and black businesses were the backbone of funding the civil rights movement. They supported the marches, the rallies, the people, and everything. But you have to have the money for that. There's no revolution without economics. You want to change the current medical condition of our people, right? Hospitalization, all that. You need money. You want to change the education system. Why does some schools don't have books? Others do. Well, now they're all pretty much laptops. Why do some schools have laptops for every student and others don't? It's economics. All right. And so the media, economics drives the media. We've lost the black newspaper. We've lost black media. Right now we're so integrated with everything else, we're not even controlling our own media. And a lot of the media that we do control is a lot of BS, a lot of garbage. There's sites out there like Blavity, which is good, The Root, The Griot, the Shade Room has some good stuff in it. And but there's a lot of junk out there. We're over here dumbing ourselves down watching stupid videos. So there's no revolution without economics, and we need to start thinking about collective consumer spending. That's why I created BeSmartBuyBlack.com. It is a free newsletter. I was thinking of ways, and 2 episodes ago, I talked about I'm going to transform the show in some form or fashion. Not quite sure yet. But one of the things that I think is utmost importance, especially for the mission of the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, to build an economic power base in the worldwide black community by building and supporting black-owned businesses. I say it each and every week when I close the show. And in order to do that, what is an easy way to get exposure for black brands to black consumers? Okay. The other thing is this. Everybody that's listening to this, I guarantee you, has purchased something online before. So you don't have to go and try to drive downtown to find a black-owned store. When you're going to get a list of black-owned products, unique products, special drops and promotions coming right in your inbox. There's no excuse now. Okay? So this is something that we have to do and change our mindset in terms of consumer spending. The question is that I always ask people, why are you spending $1,200 on a pair of ugly ass Balenciaga sneakers that if it didn't have the name Balenciaga on it, you wouldn't be caught dead in it? Because I get it. You may want to feel good. I got some nice some fresh gear. I feel good. I get that. I understand that. But when you can't pay your electric bill or your cell phone bill, you're not ready to buy that stuff yet. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with buying nice things. I get it. I buy certain nice things. I'm not big into fashion like that. I'm definitely not spending more than $175 or $150 on a pair of sneakers, and those are running shoes. I'll spend on nice dress shoes. I'll spend on suits. I'll spend on ties, things of that nature. But I'm not going to be spending $150 for a sweatshirt with aloe on it or whatever you want to put on the sweatshirt. That to me, that's insane, because it's all a culture thing. They've got you programmed that you not fresh, you not fly if you don't have this type of stuff. And that's not true. And we have to change the narrative where you not fly if you don't have this black owned brands. And that's what we need to focus on. And also the power of collective consumer spending. And the fourth thing I wanted to talk about, let's recap first. First thing was black culture equals global currency. Number 2, I talked about the wealth gap in ownership. And I just talked about number 3, the power of collective consumer spending. And last but not least, some of the solutions from culture, I guess, to capital. If you've ever read the book Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson, you know what I'm talking about. But if you have not, make sure you go get that Powernomics by Claude Anderson. He lays it out. My take on this is super simple, guys. Just 3 things. Number 1, you have to build and support black-owned businesses. I talk about this on the podcast all the time. Build and support black-owned businesses. And when I say support, we're talking about making a conscious effort to shop black. Also, I mentioned this the other week too. When you critique a black-owned business, because there's this narrative out there that our products are inferior, our business acumen is inferior, we don't like shopping with black-owned stores or whatever. I want you to critique every business just as tough as you critique a black-owned business. Because I guarantee you, when you go to one of these corner stores to get your chicken wings and fried rice, how many times have they put the money on the counter and not put it in your hand? That's a sign of disrespect. But guess what? Do you stop going to that restaurant on the corner? No, and you probably are conditioned to having the money put on the countertop as opposed to putting your hand. So I want you to make sure that you critique every business the way that you critique a black-owned business. The second thing you have to do, guys, is become not just a consumer, but a producer. Now, we're all consumers. We have to consume to live. But we need to balance out the scales by becoming a producer. Start producing something, be it your own business, your own product, your own brand, whatever it is, because the scales need to be balanced. So you have to start producing. Now, I'm not saying quit your job today if you got a job and whatever, but you need to have multiple streams of income. So start becoming a producer. And what does that do? If you are a producer, hopefully you'll generate more revenues with your new business, part-time business, whatever it is, where now you can sink those monies back into the business and continue to grow it. Thereby, it's going to help your family. And if you continue to grow the business, you may need employees, right? So guess what most people and most ethnicities do? They hire people that look like them and that they're comfortable with. And guess what? We can do the same thing. You want to cut down on black unemployment? You want to shrink those numbers? It's starting more businesses. So when you go into specific stores from different ethnicities, guess what? A lot of times all you're going to see is that ethnicity in the store. And if not, most of the jobs that you'll see, that we do are menial jobs. So once again, number one, build and support black-owned businesses. Number two, become a producer, just not a consumer. And number three, guys, start to share and refer the black businesses that you deal with. All right. Now, if they're not a good business, guess what? I don't care what color it is. You don't necessarily have to support that. But if you find that you went to this black restaurant or you bought some clothing or whatever from a black designer or whatever, share that. We're so quick to share stupid stuff or nonsense on social media. Look what I'm having for dinner. You know what? Who cares? Nobody gives a damn what you're eating for dinner. But if you say, hey, I just went over to such and such restaurant. I had an amazing meal right here. Make sure you guys check them out. As a matter of fact, I was in Chicago a couple of weeks ago, and my daughter took us to a nice black-owned restaurant in West Town, part of Chicago, called Provare, Provare. Amazing, amazing food, amazing service. Beautiful location. The place felt like home. They came over, they talked to you. Everything was beautiful. I put that on social media, Provare. So there's no reason why we can't start doing that, guys. So we can start empowering our people to find good products and services that they can support. Building brands, building businesses, building an economic power base. That's what it's all about. Now, before I get to the last segment of the show, let me just give you guys all my social media contact information and resource links real quick. Everything I'm about to tell you is on the website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Make sure you go to the website and utilize all the free resources. Hit the Learn tab. There's a drop down. We have resources on scaling your business, e-commerce, strategy and mindset, anything you need to build your business and to move you from point A to point B. Also, I talked about at the top of the show, besmartbyblack.com. There's no excuse not to be able to sign up for a free newsletter and get access to unique black-owned products and brands. You don't even have to do anything. It's going to be in your inbox, in your mailbox, email every week. So there's no excuse. So you can make a conscious effort to go and shop black and share that with other people. Okay. Now, if you want to connect with me, guys, anything long, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. That's JAYJONES@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Instagram, I have 2 IG accounts. The first one is J Jones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Actually, I have 3 IG accounts. The newest one is Be Smart by Black on IG. So make sure you guys follow me there and hit that subscribe button for the newsletter. LinkedIn, connect with me there. Just type in J Jones Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Twitter or X now, JJones001, JAYJONES001. Also YouTube, I have additional content on the YouTube channel that is not on the show. So make sure you go to YouTube, put in the search Black Entrepreneur Blueprint and hit that subscribe button. For all you first time listeners, we drop a new episode every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on all your major podcast platforms and YouTube. So wherever you watch this or listen to this, hit that subscribe button so you make sure that you're alerted every time a new episode comes out. Now, let's get back to the last segment of the show. So we talked about black culture is big business for everybody but us. So the beauty of this thing is that we can change the narrative. We have everything that we need to help change that narrative. We have the $1.98 trillion just in the United States. We're not talking about the rest of the world, where we can start to galvanize and funnel those funds and support and build black-owned businesses. The way you get more black-owned businesses is that you support the ones that you currently have. People start to expand and they start to grow. That helps employment in the black community. That helps everything. It helps the economy. And once again, guys, there's no revolution without economics. There's no revolution without economics. When you have an economy behind you, you have money, you can build things. So if your community needs a nice new daycare and you're in that space and you have revenue, you have monies, guess what? You can build a positive place for people to bring their children. Economics rules everything. It rules media. It rules education. It rules healthcare. It rules everything. So you have to have that economics base behind you, politics, right? So politics is a play for pay game or pay for play game. If you want your politician to do something, guess what? Most people create political action committees and they hold that politician's feet to the fire, right? We're too busy doing some other stuff as opposed to really creating a political action committee. Economics rules it all, guys. And until we understand and start to recognize that, and not just recognize and understand, but start to galvanize and take action, nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change, guys. So we need to start where we're at, right? We got $1.98 trillion, okay, coming through the United States black community. First thing, you need to funnel that as much as you can to black-owned businesses, support and build black-owned businesses. All right. After that, what we want to do is we want to be able to become more producers and not just consumers. And the third thing is we want to share these black-owned businesses and products and brands with our entire network. Let's change the narrative. Let's make black-owned brands be the brands that the culture is following. Instead of spending money with, Louis and Gucci and Balenciaga, how about we have the black-owned names where it's cool to be out there with the black-owned products and brands? Not just for us, but if we're the leaders of the culture, if we do it, guess what? Other people are doing it. All we got to do is somebody has a nice black-owned brand and you get a couple of stars or celebrities or influencers start wearing the stuff. Everybody else starts wearing it. How much money do you think Timberland made from rappers back in the day who started wearing the Timbs? How much money do you think Cristal made? How much money do you think Gucci is still making right now because people are trying to style and profile with Gucci everything, spending $500 for a freaking Gucci belt or whatever. So just think about the power that we have. We have everything here laid out on the table. It's just a matter of galvanizing and utilizing our resources in a way that's beneficial to us. To us. Every other ethnicity does this but us. Every other ethnicity understands the ramifications of not supporting your own group of people. And guess what? They don't care if when they buy from their people, if the price is a little bit higher than if they could go to Costco. Guess what? They understand and recognize the importance of supporting their own people. And that's what we have to do. Let me shut this thing on down now because I literally could go on for another 30 minutes. But I say this each and every week, guys, because it's true. We get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family. I appreciate you guys so much. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast, the whole ecosystem, the online courses, the books, and the new revised Be Smart Buy Black free newsletter. It is free, guys. Go to besmartbuyblack.com. You'll get unique Black-owned brands and products in your email every week. This is what we're talking about, taking action. So it's free to sign up, and please share the link with your whole network. It ain't nothing cheaper than free, right? And it will give you exposure and no excuses not to support Black-owned businesses. Remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.